What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 321 of the Cheesy Controller Podcast. I'm your host, Anton LaPlante. Joining me, as always, we have the Mecha Stardew Valley, Chris Montalbano.
What's going on?
We have the Ray Trace Durag Madrid Devon.
That new Monster Hunter about to be wild.
And we got the most generous squid in the sea, Jalen Roberts.
We're in a hacking / resurgence. Thank God.
And joining us for the first time on the podcast, we have the owner of Challengers Games and Collectibles here in Georgia, and the organizer of the Atlanta Sci-Fi Expo, Tony.
That's Challenges Games and Comics and the Atlanta Sci-Fi and Fantasy Expo.
All right. So joining us
That's real.
today, we have Tony of the Atlanta Sci-Fi Expo and of Challenge Games and Comics. How's it going, Tony?
That's going pretty good. How about you?
Doing pretty good. So when we have guests on the show, one of the questions we like to start off with is, what's your favorite video game? Like, if there were one video game you could point to and say, that is my favorite video game, what would you say that game is for you?
Well, I'm not a really avid video gamer, but I actually have a group of writers and friends that I hang out with, and we love playing World War Z.
Okay.
We at one point so we were playing World War Z like 4 nights a week.
So that's like
You
the
know.
hangout social game, yeah.
Yeah, hang out, social game, and relieve stress. Nothing helps relieve stress as much as like killing zombies.
Killing giant
sir.
monsters rivals it, but, tomato, tomato,
Well, the thing about it is and stuff, all of us have like different systems, so we're always looking for like cool games that we can play together that you can play whether or not you're on the Xbox, the PlayStation, or computers. Like me and stuff, I'm using a computer system. I actually had like a PlayStation, 4 back in the day, and I loaned it to a friend, and she had it for like years, and I never even bothered her about it. So,
Well, with on PC these days, you kind of get the best of both worlds because
Yeah.
Xbox exclusives come out day one, and then PlayStation exclusives like multiplayer things are coming day one, and single player stuff you wait a little while, but then you get like a better performing version than you'd even get on PlayStation in a lot of cases. So-
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, if it's ported correctly.
well, I'm definitely gonna need you guys to recommend some stuff for us later, because I know that one time and stuff we were all talking about playing the new Warhammer Marines game,
Oh yeah.
and I went and I
Oh,
purchased
yes.
it and I
Space
downloaded it,
Marines.
but we haven't had a chance to play it yet as a group.
Well, yeah, Space Marine 2, I don't know if you've seen the Amazon show Secret Level, but there's a Warhammer 40K episode of that. And I mean,
was
like,
good.
overall, I'd say, like, the Armored Core episode was really good, the Pac-Man episode was really good, but the Warhammer, I think the Warhammer episode is the best episode of that entire series.
Hey, send me some links.
Well, yeah, that's on Prime Video, so I wouldn't even know how to link that.
Okay. Well, I know I'm paying for Prime, so yeah, I'll have to like look it
Yeah.
up. Just send me a reminder on it. I said I'm old, so it's kind of hard for me to remember stuff. I
Well,
always
yeah.
tell people I'm so old and stuff that I was playing video games. When it was Pong. My first game system was an Atari 2600. So I'm a OG gamer.
Yeah.
I was playing video
Yeah.
games for you guys probably even born.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
So,
If you had an Atari 2600,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I gamed when we had one button. Y'all spoiled with like 6 buttons. We did it with one.
You gotta
Yeah.
have.
you gotta have the back pedals now, the
Yeah.
extra triggers.
You gotta have the
Mouse and keyboard set
capacitive
up.
touchpads.
Full
The
the
haptic
emotion
feedback.
tracking.
Yeah.
I'm actually using my keyboard with my PlayStation like for the first time since Final Fantasy 14 because the chat's actually usable in Monster Hunter Wild. So in the
nice.
beta, I'm like, oh, like I can actually have a good time and like actually talk to randoms in the game using my keyboard, which is something you definitely couldn't do in Rise or World. So
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, I'm definitely not going to do that. But I'm glad
I
it's
mean,
not.
do you do it in Final Fantasy?
No.
Okay, so
I
I'm
might say
expecting the
GG.
people that do it in Final Fantasy 14 to also do it in Monster Hunter Wilds.
Or maybe may have healers adjust.
You have it set as auto text. It's like the recommended because it's all you send.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so disconnected. The last Final Fantasy and only Final Fantasy I played was 11.
And
11 was a
so,
good one.
yeah,
And that was
11 still
because my
gives content.
girlfriend got me the game and she got me the expansion and made me play with her.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then she got mad at me when I played without her.
Yeah.
Were you solo leveling? I mean, yes, you got me addicted to this shit.
Yeah.
I need
Oh,
gear
there was
now.
nothing
You
worse and stuff, right? Because of course I had the best computers at the shop, right? So one
Mhm.
time I was playing and I'm like, well, hey, let me just do a little bit of farming. And the next thing I knew, it was 5 a.m. in the morning. All right, and I was like, okay, I gotta let this go, you know.
Yeah. Even
Yep,
those,
yep.
they'll get you like that.
Yep.
Honestly,
And
that was
Final
my first
Fantasy
experience
14.
with 14. Like the first time I played it, I looked up and like 8 hours have passed and I hadn't did anything in real
Shoot.
life. I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
I stayed away from it for years after that, and then I went back.
My whole thing is, it's like I spend so much time working in the real world that I don't have time to work at night. I'm like, you know, on a video game.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna go get a second job or do something else for the business, you know.
Right.
That's why you gotta, stream. You gotta create. You gotta have a podcast where you make content out of you playing games until 3 a.m, like we did the other night inadvertently.
Sounds like fun.
Hmm.
Well, yeah. So Tony, if you want to kind of tell people about your shop. So I know earlier you were saying you'd been watching anime and finding out like just being more informed on like the anime and like collectible gaming side.
Well, yeah. Well, I own Challengers Games and Comics. Right now, we're over here at North Lake Mall, right on the outskirts of Tucker. All right, and we've got a store that's about like 8,000 square feet. You know, we do board games, miniature games, collectible card games. You know, I can seat like over 100 people here in the store. But we originally started off as a comic book shop. But, you know, we've expanded so much more. You know, besides having comics, like I said, we've got the board games, miniature games, collectible card games. But we've also got, you know, posters, action figures, you know, miniatures, paints out the wazoo. You know, we do just about everything that's like pop culture related. You know, we even do Beyblade tournaments up here.
Oh, see.
That
You
is
know,
sick.
just coming up President's Day, we're actually hosting a chess tournament for kids because they're going to be out of school. So, you know, we do, you know, a little bit of everything, you know, when it comes to nerdom. You know, the only thing we don't do is video games. But at one time, we actually did do computer network gaming, you know, which was like really fun. And we sit there playing Halo and Counter-Strike till like the early AM mornings with like our LAN parties.
Yeah.
But then again, I found out and stuff that it's like, it's kind of expensive upgrading those computers all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we had to actually step away from. It's like, you know, since I didn't have a bar or a coffee shop at the time, it's kind of hard to make money just off of renting computer time, especially now with everybody giving high-speed internet. Nobody has to go anywhere to play anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I know there are a lot of gaming spaces that instead of using PCs, they'll have consoles because they're typically cheaper and like it's not necessarily as incremental upgrade. Like you're getting kind of a big leap every generation of consoles. So I know that's something a lot of people do because things like Smash Brothers, like you can have one system, one copy of the game, and enough Like people will bring their own controllers to play Smash Brothers, and so
Hmm.
I know that that's definitely something like with places I knew that would rent PC time, a lot of them pivoted to console gaming because that's where the majority of people are playing. And because I know for me, like my PC is not the best for gaming, but if I'm gonna play something on my PC, it'll typically be at my desk. But something like multiplayer, like local co-op, local competitive, something like that, I'm much more open to going somewhere like and playing that with other people.
Yeah. I know the pod's been into like the TCG lately, myself excluded, of course. But, the other three have definitely been on Pokemon and Magic.
Well, like I said, yesterday we had about, like I said, 26 people up here playing Commander. And today I think we've got like 18 people up here playing Commander. So, Magic is still like really popular.
Yeah.
We sell a lot of Pokemon. We've tried to do Pokemon tournaments, but when we ask kids, are you guys, playing? They're like, no, we just collect. I ask the adults, you guys playing? They're like, no, we just collect.
Yeah.
So, I've got
That's-
space to do Pokemon tournaments, but we don't do them because I can't find any players.
That's kind of how I feel. I've always collected Pokemon and I played Yu-Gi-Oh.
I feel like that's a lot of the resurgence of the Pokemon card game was built around collecting too.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of people weren't getting into it to play it in the first place.
Well, that's one of the things and stuff I noticed. Like before the pandemic, I would usually have like 6 open sets of like Pokemon releases. All right, half open boxes. And I was basically only selling them to like little kids. All right. And every once in a while I'd throw sales at like $3 a pack just to try to get rid of them. All right. But in the middle of the pandemic, when no one could play the game, some YouTuber starts talking about how much money he made off of Pokemon.
Mhm.
And then suddenly Pokemon becomes really hot again. And I'm just like, if it wasn't worth anything before the pandemic, why is it worth something now? I'm pretty much like, everybody who's in jail because of a pyramid scheme, just let them out. Because at this point, all it takes is somebody who's like semi-famous to say something's worth money and people believe it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
it's
one of those things is like, you don't just want to be the last person holding something when the bubble bursts. But it's like, oh, this is worth money. It's like somebody used to come into the store and they're talking about NFTs. And he was saying that he had like an X-Men #1 NFT that's officially, licensed by Marvel. And it's like number such and such number. And it's worth more money than my physical actual X-Men #1. And I'm like, how?
yeah.
I have a physical copy of something that's limited. You have a digital copy of something, but it's worth more money. And all somebody has to do is hit a button to make a copy of it.
Gotta
But
love speculation.
if you can convince it, you
Mhm.
convince people it's good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, NFTs really
Yeah, that's real.
tried to go big in gaming, and gamers
It's-
were the first group that were like, absolutely not.
Every single implementation of it has been utterly shitted on by everybody.
like a lot of them
Yeah.
got
And
bullied
fails.
out of releasing or being implemented in the first place. Like the companies would be like, "Yeah, we're doing it," and gamers would speak out so resoundingly that it was just like, "No, you guys can't come over here with that. We are not interested. Nobody wants it. We know to a certain extent how games work, and like, sure, it'd be cool if the sword that I have in Monster Hunter I can take with me to Final Fantasy, and I can take with me to whatever else, like Dragon Age or something like that. But that's not how games work. Like, fundamentally, we understand there's like licensing, development costs. Like, there's no way that there's going to be, like, they were talking about like gun skins. And they're like, you could have this gun skin across multiple games, across multiple publishers. And everybody's like,
No.
Call of Duty's not going to do that.
Yeah.
Like EA's not going to work with Activision, who's not going to work with Ubisoft, who's not going to work like
They spend so much money making their
Mhm.
shits in house. Why would they have somebody import that skin from elsewhere into their game to cut into their bottom line? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
So what you're saying is that gamers are wiser than the general public. I get you. Okay.
It depends. Certain games.
No, it's more of the fact that we dealt with that stupid already.
Yeah.
That lesson was already learned. Like,
Yeah.
if we knew that lesson intrinsically, FIFA would not have made trillions of dollars by now.
Right. If gamers truly voted with their wallet, we would get one Call of Duty every few years.
Yeah, but Call of Duty is the
Yeah.
best-selling game every year, and so developer
'Cause they
after developer
put
is
one
just
out every-
absorbed into
every
the
damn
Call
year.
of Duty minds, and
Yep.
that's just how it is. And because Call of Duty gets bigger and bigger every year, it like forces every other game from every other studio, for the most part, to get bigger and bigger, and like now we're seeing layoffs left and right because people voted with their wallets and said, we want everything to be Call of Duty or Madden or 2K or Grand Theft Auto or like these specific things that I'd say for gamers like us, like that's not our priority when we like when we engage with gaming. Sometimes we'll go to bigger IPs, but we also will look out for like the indie developers. We'll look out for the smaller studios, the shorter games, like the more unique things. But a lot of times, like Nier Automata is one of my favorite video games ever. But if I tell the general person to play Nier Automata, I guarantee, like, they probably won't be interested in it because, like, it starts off with, like, a 2D shoot 'em up style, like, Ikaruga style game. And so, like, people will see that and immediately be like, I'm not shooting anybody with a gun right now directly, or doing third-person character action immediately, even though that's what that game becomes.
When they get into that, it's like, is the main character a woman? No, thank you. So, the gamers definitely have some developing to do. And like, like the general populace, they play those big gas games, and that's about it. But like, if you go just like a tier deeper, or like the true gamers bloom, they're out there playing some shit. Like, then you have people playing stuff like Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is just a peasant life simulator.
Yep.
Yes.
Like, how do you have a system for like eating, drinking, and like literally brewing potions? Like, you gotta heat up your Bunsen burner and like weigh out your herbs and stuff. Like, if I ever had to play something that meticulous, I would simply toss my console.
Yeah, there's a reason,
Fair.
But
Hey, but some people love that.
Yeah,
it sounds like my personal hell in video game form.
All right. So the games we've actually been playing would be certain people's literal gaming hells. Like, I've been trying to convince some of the people I've been playing shooters with, to like dip their toe in Monster Hunter, and they're like, no, I can't see myself grinding for any reason. Like, the only thing I grind is rank.
Fact that I start with.
I'm like, you grind rank in Monster Hunter. There are guns.
I mean,
You could turn
the
that
children
game into a
yearn for
third-person
PvP.
shooter if you really wanted to. But
man.
so that's actually the Monster Hunter Wilds open beta test 2. This is the second week of the test. It actually got extended due to the outage on PSN last week, so that like they actually saw like significant drops in numbers of people playing because nobody could play online on PlayStation for almost 24 hours last week. And so they extended this beta to make up for the lost time on that end. And they also released the launch trailer, and between the beta and the launch trailer, I am so ready for this game. Like, I wish
Yeah.
they'd let me preload it now just so I could have the icon on my home screen because, yeah, I think I'm like already double-digit hours into just playing the beta that only has, what is it, 5 hunts? Because it's
I think it's
Arkfeld,
4.
Raydao, Chotacabra, Balahara, and Doshiguma.
Oh, so it is 5. Yeah, I
Oh,
finally
and
hunted it.
6 because
Oh.
Jibtheros.
Oh, it's just floating around.
Well, no, Jibtheros has like all of them.
I have
Once you encounter them for the first time, or if you beat them on a quest with somebody else. So like either you encounter them in the wild, just in the area you have in the beta, or you just what we were doing. We were posting the optional quests and just like, all right, we're doing this now. Everybody load in. We head out hunt. So because that was the quicker way of doing it than going out in the field, fighting it a little bit, having the quest start, you know, and where we would make sure we'd eat, we'd restock our items, we'd make sure we were actually set and just use the menu-based system we've been used to since World all the way through GU. Like, it's the same, like, standby for departure menu as far back as any of us have been playing Monster Hunter, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's pretty much like an RPG. Like if you're playing like a role-playing game with a bunch of your friends, and you have your party, and so you still got to get all your stuff together before you actually go on your adventure.
Yeah. So.
Yep. You got to make sure you eat. You got to make sure you're supplied. You got to make sure you're dressed.
Yep.
All those things I said I didn't like. It's present in this game, but it works.
Context, though. Context. Do you want to do it in the context of being a probably dramatic Renaissance surf, or would you rather do it to hunt giant monsters that look like mini Godzilla?
And it is like a PlayStation only game.
No, this one actually. So it's been across like the history of the game started on PS2. Since then, it's gone to like 3DS and PSP, and so it was like a handheld game for a long time. And not the version that's coming out at the end of this month, but the previous version released only on Switch, and then eventually came to PC, and then came to consoles. But this one is coming day and date to PC, PS5, Xbox Series, and so this one actually has crossplay, because Capcom previously it didn't have, like you were asking about games you could play across different systems. Monster Hunter Wilds is like one of those games that we're talking about right now that I
that is
recommend.
about to be such a fucking game changer, and I don't think people really realize.
Yeah,
that.
people really
like,
don't understand, because like with Monster Hunter World, like the last console entry one, that one I had a save file on PS4, I had a save file on Xbox One, and I had a save file on PC. And so, but I couldn't play with any of the people that I had as friends in those other.
And that's because you bought that game 3 different times?
Yes. Well, technically yes, but the Xbox version was on Game Pass when I had Game Pass on Xbox. So
that sounds like something I definitely want to look out for. You know, especially if I can like play with my friends who have different systems. As long as it's like a shooting game, and I can play with my friends, and I get to use this right here, I'm happy.
You got a heavy duty mouse.
Trackball.
Yeah.
Proper. Woo!
Yo, let's see.
well, yeah. So I mean, Monster Hunter I wouldn't say is a shooter. I'd say it's more of a character action game with like. It has, 14 different weapons, and each weapon plays entirely different from each other weapon. So it's essentially like a class-based, like, but you have 14 classes, and you mix and match that in your party of 4. But this game, for the first time, you can carry 2 weapons to a hunt. So if you play 2 different weapons or have 2 different, like, necessities, for the first time in this franchise, you can, like, I typically use a greatsword. And so, like, I'll go out on a hunt 99% of the time with a greatsword, but I can also use sword and shield and hammer and to a certain extent dual blades. So, like, those
and there'll be
weapons
those.
I can have as my secondary. So instead of
Mhm.
like locking in and going on these hunts with a greatsword, I could go on the hunt with a greatsword, switch to a hammer, and just because if the monster like has specific hit zones that require a hammer over a greatsword, I can just switch that. And so
Yeah,
yeah,
it
Because
used
you
to
also
be.
need to
Let
get
me let me go back to camping weapons, or if you get carded or basically get knocked out, it's like all right, let me go get my actual weapon now. You wanted to play around, now you can just have that on you, like on your giant chicken. So, because you ride around on a giant chicken.
and also you
That's
have
what it
enough.
is.
It's not a chocobo.
That's
not
not a.
yet. It's not.
It
We know
is
how
close.
Final Fantasy and
Legally-
Monster Hunter.
Legally distinct chocobo.
Until
I mean, it
it's
looks
not
like an
legally
actual-
distinct.
it looks like
until
a
they bring the
properly
model
feathered
from
raptor.
Final Fantasy 16 over.
Yeah, I mean giant lizard chicken, same thing.
Yeah. We all know
They go fried
dinosaurs
the
turned
same.
into chickens.
Always have been.
But yeah, so I put several hours into the Monster Hunter Wilds beta. The other beta that's been running over this weekend, but this one, unlike the Monster Hunter, where it's just like it had a clear, defined start and stop time, and it just
Yeah.
ran continuously for days, we played the Elden Ring Nightreign beta, and that had like 3 hour spurts here and
Oh
there.
man, that
And
shit was like they picked like the worst times for that
absolute
shit.
garbage. Like 6 to 9 a.m. on a Friday. What am
Like make it make sense. Like even on the West Coast, it's like 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. What the who wants to be up playing at that time?
right? Who has the mental capacity? Like I know, the other night
Wow.
we ended up playing Night Rain and then playing Monster Hunter, and you guys played some Marvel Rivals in the in between. Like I know. We were up till 3 a.m., but we weren't starting the
Because
Night Rain beta at 3 a.m.
yeah, nah. At that point, your mental focus and clarity is out of the
Oh yeah,
fucking door.
completely
And
diminished.
and to attempt to play Elden Ring like that
Mhm.
Right, I
with
started off
strangers.
with Night Rain Friday night, and even I was like, I don't have the mental capacity to relearn how to play Elden Ring in a multiplayer format without my friends because they have the password system of you just set the same password as your friend and you guys match make together because it's 3-player multiplayer.
Yeah,
But
my thing is, if you're making a multiplayer game, you gotta make a better system than that because that shit is ass.
well, it
You
was
know?
just off. That was the problem. Like
No,
it
but
would have
I'm
been
saying
fine,
like just
but it was just
like
off.
that password, like instead of just sending an invite or something like that,
They'll
or inviting
probably
somebody to the group.
have a lobby
That should
system.
be standard from launch though.
Yeah,
But
I think it will.
this is a closed network test, whatever.
Yeah, this is
But
just
if
to
that's
get
not
people
something
on
they're
their
thinking
servers.
about, that's kind of ass.
Yeah, I think it'll have like an actual lobby system, and
Yeah. It's got to. I mean, it's 2025. No one's using passwords for.
well, it's
Well,
2025, and most games have
we're talking
crossplay
we're
when
talking
it comes
about
out the
Yeah.
FromSoft
same
here.
day. And
Yeah.
Night Rain does not have crossplay in any sense.
What?
And honestly, if it's
Neither
really
did
built
Elden
off
Ring.
the bones of Elden Ring, we
Yeah,
might
that's true.
it might just be password, and that's just what it is.
This is worse than Nintendo.
I mean,
No,
Yeah,
No,
you
that's not something Nintendo would do.
yeah,
No.
Nintendo would just not let you play. It would make you actively play against your friends. We know we know how Nintendo treats you when it comes to online play. It's like
like, hey, you're
Oh,
playing
yeah.
the game, aren't you? You want to play
Playing
it a specific
Splatoon.
way? That's too damn bad.
But yeah, so Night Rain. I think we have one more shot this weekend of being able to play, and hopefully the password system's back implemented. If not, I'm not gonna play it.
Yeah, same. I think they took it off too because it was causing the game to not work.
Yeah.
Because I tried playing Friday morning because I was up at 7. I was like, well, I can do this. I got 2 hours left to do this. I might as well. I'm off today, right? And I tried. The most I could do was tutorial before the game was just like fucking down because it wasn't working. Apparently, some people got into play and actually got into play with their friends for a little bit. Eventually, I was able to get in that night and just playing with randos. So it didn't hit the same. It doesn't have backfill. So if somebody just leaves, it's just you and one other person, and so you're like severely down DPS, or like a chance to res. So it's not it's not a good time. But outside of that, the game is fun. Like, they just added nice roguelike elements to it. You're killing people, they're dropping random weapons, random perks. Any class you pick can use any weapon. It might not behoove you to use a great sword as a recluse, the magic user, but you can do it. It might not make the most sense, but you got that option, So yeah, I'm looking forward to actually getting my hands on it, or another version, or like playing with friends. But yeah,
and actually over the last week we got the release date and the price. So it's coming out. I want to say May 11th, but
I think it's May 30th.
May 30th. Let me find a tab I can fact check that on. But we got it is May 30th.
It's May 30th.
And so we have that, and it's $40.
Keep up the dates.
So out the gate, it's not even like games have gone up to 70 as like the standard price. And like budget titles have been coming in at 50, but this is like 40, and I want to say
it's like Helldivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a good, here's your multiplayer.
And another interesting thing about this is it's also coming out on Xbox One and PS4 in 2025. So
the fact that we're still getting PS4 games catches me off guard sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna milk that thing for all it's worth.
Yeah, this is like just like reused assets of Elden Ring. It's just like, all right.
Oh no, I approve of that. Right. I say if you've made yourself a good base of assets that are already used, that you already got, use them. Make more stuff out of them.
I mean, look at the Yakuza studio. That's all they do, and those games, those games fucking sell, and they can crank them out at such a clip that
they're at this point we're getting
impressive.
Like 3 a year. We're getting more of those than we're getting MCU movies lately.
Crazy. That's like their phase 2 schedule. This is
somehow bigger than it's ever been. Insane.
And I mean, while we're talking about Marvel, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, we're on week 3 of this show being out and being like top tier Spider-Man media. And so between that and it being in voice chats where people are complaining about Spider-Man and Marvel rivals, like between those two things, I ended up resuming my New Game Plus playthrough of Spider-Man 2 and finishing it, so I'm back to 100% of the trophies on Spider-Man 2, because when they added New Game Plus, they added 1 silver trophy that was beat the game on New Game Plus. I'm like, I'll do that over time. And then the past couple of weeks, it's like, I'm watching Spider-Man, I'm going to go play Spider-Man. Because it'll start off like I was going to Fortnite and using like one of my Spider-Man skins in Fortnite. And I was like, it's not hidden right. I do just have Spider-Man 2 on my PlayStation.
You got to be Spider-Man.
Right. And I have I have all of the suits that I have in Fortnite in Spider-Man 2. With way more actual Spider-Man-like gameplay. Because they don't have the web swingers in Fortnite right now, because...
Yeah.
I feel like they'd be broken.
It was. It was great, though. That's the
What would you attach yourself to?
trees, buildings, bridges.
What if you're in like a flat, like there's nothing around your area?
Then you just
It
kind of
takes
like
the
shoot it forward
Spider-Man
and,
2
like,
on PS2's logic.
No.
Yeah, it's just play Just Cause 2. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Doflamingo did this in One Piece. He would just attach himself to with his string. He was like, "Oh, you can fly." I'm like, yeah, I'm just attaching my threads to clouds. It makes perfect sense.
Okay, so I did the Spider-Man 100%. The other, and I guess this would be like the big story for this week's episode. We had a state of play for 2025. PlayStation did another state of play, and of course, people's expectations got completely out of check instantly.
I mean, okay, if you don't let your expectations get out of check for a state of play or any sort of announcement, are you really having fun?
Yeah, I
Are
had
you
more
really?
fun because my expectations didn't go out. Like, I knew we were getting a bunch of third-party things, maybe a first-party thing, and that's exactly what we got. And so, like, I was good. Like, I'm like, this is what they opened with Monster Hunter. We got the launch trailer. They played Proof of a Hero for the first time.
I don't need another Monster Hunter trailer.
Yeah,
I don't need another Monster Hunter thing except for the fucking game.
Isn't this about to come out?
Yeah, it was a launch trailer. Which, if it were Square Enix, they would have put the ending of the game in the trailer. Because that's what Square Enix does with their launch trailers. Like,
And they'll try to sell you some NFTs all in the same.
So,
hey, my expectations were out the window. I still had a great time.
Well, yeah,
What are your
had,
expectations?
That's one of the good things. It had something for pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
So I have the games listed in RDoc in alphabetical order because that's the order they were in on the PlayStation blog. So
Yeah, that's what I got pulled up.
Look, I still have the Bloodborne PS5 conspiracy because they recently shut down the patch, the 60 FPS patch, mod that they had for PlayStation. Meaning they're probably going to do that since Bluepoint has nothing to do since the God of War live service, which disgusting sentence to come out of my mouth.
Right.
But because that got canceled, thank God, Bluepoint now has some free time. Like, you know, putting your best PS4 game on PS5.
I'm just trying to imagine, like, what was that God of War live service supposed to be like? Was it going to be like a Ghost of Tsushima Legends? Like,
it's just Ascension's multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's just more Ascension multiplayer.
What was the multiplayer in Ascensions? I'm unversed. I don't know.
It was like co-op.
It was deathmatch.
No, they might.
No,
have
they had deathmatch. No, they had deathmatch in that thing.
A character action deathmatch?
Yes.
Was it fun?
No.
No. Mid at best.
It was no
Mid
Lost
at
Planet.
best. Okay, Lost Planet actually had something there, though. They actually had something.
Isn't Lost Planet a shooter, though?
A giant mech shooter.
It was a 4-player co-op game back in that era where that wasn't common.
Oh,
this was during Capcom's dark period. I mean, you did play Boots on the Ground. You did both. Because when you're playing Boots on the Ground, the game was really don't freeze to death. Like, everything else comes second to not freezing to death.
That's
so
Lost
it's
Planet
Titanfall
3.
with a...
Lost Planet 2 was like, we're on a jungle planet.
Okay, I mean the regular... Right, Lost Planet 1 and 3 are don't freeze to death. Lost Planet 2 was Desert Planet, yeah.
So
don't freeze to death. Don't die.
Have a heat stroke.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing about Lost Planet is that should be a multiplayer game where you're struggling not to get killed by the weather. We need more multiplayer games where you're trying not to get killed by the weather. I miss that.
No, I'm fine.
Nobody's
with not having that. I don't think the kids are clamoring. You know what I need in a gun battle? A sweat mechanic.
Tell that to Tarkov.
Yeah.
Tarkov, you gotta like maintain your teeth.
People can barely do that IRL.
Right? Look, I'm just saying, just a little inclement weather, you know? More
Monster
games need to
Wilds
try
has
it.
it. You know, there's the time like they got the
Helldivers.
sandstorm.
They have fire tornadoes, just
Yeah.
like California.
Helldivers also does.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm saying more games need it. Because how much fun was the inclement weather in Helldivers 2? Fire tornadoes, fucking the whole ice shit that happened, like all the nonsense that happened on the ice planets. Like, we just need more games with like very fun weather effects.
I'm trying to see if any of these games would have weather effects that were in the state of play.
None.
Mm-mm. No.
Well, actually,
no,
maybe Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, maybe. But
Yeah, you're
no.
definitely getting an ice level in that. It'll definitely be snowing in a part. Like, even
Yes.
barely remembering the trailer, one thing stood out in that trailer to me for, was it Sonic Racing Cross Worlds? I gotta like,
Yes.
that's not a very memorable name. Like, even though Sonic All-Star Racing Transformed also wasn't a good name for a video game, but here we are.
Right.
The two things that stood out in that trailer to me were the Sonic rings working like the movie rings, where they teleport you. So like the movie has now like made things game canon.
Wait, but that's how Lightspeed Dash works.
Wait.
That's just how Sonic's Lightspeed Dash works.
Yeah, those are giant rings.
Yeah, that's just
Oh,
Sonic was already doing.
that's
It's
true.
all coming full circle.
It's all coming full. Yeah, you know what? It is just a ring. Just the
Wasn't
7 rings in
the
hand,
giant
you
ring
know?
in the first one for when you go to the bonus level at the end of the?
Yes.
Yeah.
So giant rings have been transporting.
So this one, they're transporting you to different courses while you're playing a racing game.
And most
That is pretty
importantly,
fun.
not only is Jet in the game, which is great, they brought back the boards for Sonic Riders because you get to
Yes,
customize your own
Yeah,
vehicle.
that is cool.
They brought the boards back.
Yeah, they showed like 3 frames of Sonic hitting a kickflip on a hoverboard, and I was like, ooh. Like, nothing
Yeah.
else you showed me.
Look, Sonic Riders is top 3 racing games on the GameCube. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, Sonic Riders is top tier video game, like, in general.
I only played that mug like one time.
Yeah, at a friend's house.
Yeah, at a friend's house.
I was the friend.
It wasn't for
I
lack
was
of
the
trying,
friend.
trust me.
I was a friend. I had everything. I still have the
was a
guide
friend that
somewhere in this
convinced
house.
me to get it for my GameCube.
I was like, holy shit, this alligator's a black dude.
Because he is.
Because he is.
He wants some vanilla though. That is also canon. He wants some vanilla.
I'd say this racing game looks fun.
You're watching the trailer.
I am watching the trailer.
Look, the Sonic Racing Transformed was fun. That game was fun. This is also going to be fun.
And the boards make a racing game make sense because in Sonic Riders, Sonic couldn't outrun the hoverboards. And if the hoverboards are racing with the cars, that means Sonic can also not outrun the cars. So
yeah, but that game also shows that every Sonic character can casually run at 150 miles per hour. Casually.
I mean, they all seem pretty fast.
It's in the
I'm-
slogan.
Yeah, not
I'm
that
looking
fast.
at this more of them like leveling the playing field for each other.
Yeah,
You know?
they're playing fair. They were like, look, we're capping it at 150. The fastest you're allowed to run is 150. I don't know, just casually, like the fact that Cream is casually running a 150 with those little legs. Like, you are a small child. How are you running this fast?
What's Cream's mom name?
Vanilla.
Vanilla? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day. Though. I was like, what is this? I'm like, there's cream and the cheese is the little chow.
Yeah.
Okay. Heard.
Yeah.
It's weird that Sonic was the first one, but I'll start from the top. Borderlands 4 was shown, and they said they're getting their own state of play. They gave a release date, but I gave Borderland more than its fair amount of shots, and I'll wait for this one to be free on PlayStation Plus because it's getting its own state of play, which means in the next couple of years it'll just be free on PlayStation Plus. So I'll download it then. Will I play it? Only if other people are playing it, because I've tried Borderlands 1 multiple times, Borderlands 2 multiple times, the pre-sequel once, 3 once. I couldn't even get with Tales from the Borderlands, and I know objectively that's a good game.
That is the objective. Narratively, it's the best one. Tales of the Borderlands, narratively, is the best one.
And not new Tales from the Borderlands, because apparently that bastardized the name Tales from the Borderlands.
No, it's. I couldn't finish the first episode of New Tales. Let's just put it that way. The original is probably like top 3 Telltale games, just in general. Like,
Heard.
That's a fall from grace going from Tales to New Tales.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next game we have on this list is Darwin's Paradox, which is like a limbo / inside life.
It looks like Oddworld. It looks like Oddworld, Aids Odyssey. It's like it's Oddworld if you were an octopus. Same plot too.
And it's coming from Konami, which is like,
wow.
Yeah, we were just talking about like Konami like not doing anything, and then in this state of play alone, we got Metal Gear Delta and we got Darwin's Paradox. So
yep.
But like, yeah, we're gonna do some weird shit too.
And
you know what? I'm happy Konami's making games, and also just don't touch. Speaking of Snake Eater, my only thing that's important: do not touch the song Snake Eater.
Yeah, I saw you say that in the Discord, and I was waiting until we were recording because they're not doing any new audio. So they're all of the original audio is coming over. This is just a visual overhaul, essentially.
That's cool.
And so it has new controls, new visuals, but all of the audio is completely untouched from the original version of the game. So you're going to get Snake Eater exactly how you remember Snake Eater, except it's going to look better.
Good. Because number one, Snake Eater is like top 5 Bond songs, and it's not even an actual Bond song. Like, but it's top 5. It's that good. It's that good. Like,
yeah, first time I heard it, I was like, hey.
Like, there's a reason why they make you climb that long ass ladder listening to that track. If it was any other game, that would have pissed you off. Like, why am I climbing up this ladder for so long? But you're just
That was the best hidden load screen of all time.
Right. I don't care about nothing. Just Oh, that game is so good. That game is a classic. I will say, after you play Delta, go back and play the original. Play it in its original lighting.
Yeah. That's also available because that's part of the Metal Gear Master Collection Volume 1. So you can play that on PS5, Xbox Series, Switch. Like, that version is also available pretty much everywhere this one's going to be available. So you have no excuse. So the next game we have, just going alphabetically, Dave the Diver has his Ichiban's Holiday DLC. Hopefully it sticks with the themes of having free DLC, because first they had Godzilla as a crossover, then they did Dredge, and now they're doing Yakuza, so hopefully this is... But this seems to have, like, more story and, like...
Yeah, it has, like, a beat-em-up in it.
Yeah.
I don't know about the other ones. I just started playing
Those did not.
And this was the game they said was an indie game?
Yeah.
You know, it's Nexon. Won Indie Game of the Year at the Game Awards, even though it's a Nexon game, but you know. Darwin's Paradox, Indie Game of the Year 2025.
Right. Indies it's a genre instead of
Right. Instead of like development.
a means of creation.
Oh, is it HD Pixel? That's an indie game.
Yeah, that's an indie game. The Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster Collection.
Yeah, that's an indie game.
Those are indie games.
I mean, like, they were developed by smaller teams than Dave the Diver or Darwin Paradox, so.
I'm gonna try
less
David the Diver
time
at
for
some
a
point.
smaller budget. I'm
It's
just
actually
saying.
fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's on PlayStation Plus Extra, so.
Yeah.
Or did they give that to us?
No,
On PlayStation
they definitely
Plus?
didn't.
I can
That's
never
extra.
remember. Okay.
Uh,
I was going through my gaming backlog. Fuck. There's so many games that I wanted to play. Now I have access to play them. I'm like, man, I don't got the bandwidth.
the curse of being an adult is having the money sometimes to buy the games, but no time to play them.
God damn it. And I'm going to have to force myself to play Monster Hunter. Well, luckily I took that first few days off. That might be the most I play.
All right.
Yeah.
So the next game, alphabetically, Days Gone Remastered. And this is going to be the first time they've done this upgrade, and I am not doing the upgrade. Because I did it for like Ghost and not Days Gone. I did it for Ghost, Death Stranding, and Horizon. And Horizon was kind of like the point of like, I don't know why I did this, and I'm definitely not doing it for Days Gone. Because I regret getting Days Gone in the first place.
Not the free upgrade, like the $10 upgrade?
Well, there is no free upgrade.
Oh, it's the $10 upgrade or whatever?
Yeah, it gives you the PS5 version that has all the new features and stuff.
Yeah, I think I bought this game physically, and I don't know where it is.
That's fine. I mean,
I played about a couple hours of this game.
Everybody got it for
free
free as part of the PlayStation Plus collection, but if you have that,
I went down to the minimum.
Wait, the
PlayStation Plus collection. Yeah. That's the shit that launched with like PlayStation 5.
Yeah, they gave you Persona 5, Fallout 4, Persona World. It just
okay.
They're like, here's some games that we think are really awesome, and we'll get you a head start. You know, which they clearly they fucking lied and put Days Gone on there.
Maybe they'll play it now.
Here's some mid. And,
Bloodborne was also on there, right?
Then we got some Peak. No, because there are PlayStation. Well, no,
I think Bloodborne is on there.
Games, actually, PlayStation 4 games.
You mean the games they're not trying to add more of to PlayStation Plus or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, something weird. Because they definitely took it away.
So I'm looking. The PlayStation Plus collection. It was 20 PS.
Devil May Cry was on there, I believe. And I saw a little lock symbol next to my Devil May Cry.
It was Detroit Become Human, Days Gone, Mortal Kombat 10, Infamous Second Son, Batman Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicle Edition, The Last Guardian, Ratchet & Clank 2016, Until Dawn, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, Fallout 4, Uncharted 4, Resident Evil 7, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Last of Us Remastered, God of War 2018, Monster Hunter World, Persona 5, and Bloodborne.
Bam.
There's some bangers on there now.
Yeah.
There are.
I'm not going to front.
But if you got that version of Days Gone, it is not a $10 upgrade to the PS5 version. You have to buy the PS5 version.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
Like, why is this still?
I don't even want to do the upgrade, and I know I bought that game digitally the first time, like before the PlayStation Plus collection.
Mhm.
Like, we are 5 years into the console. Why are y'all trying to fucking nickel and dime us for everything?
Right. The Until Dawn remaster or remake was
That
already
didn't have an
I
upgrade
don't get it.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
That was just a situation of no, buy this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people voted with their wallet.
And I said, no, I don't want to. And I think they're going
it's-
to do the same thing with Days Gone remastering.
Yeah, it's gonna. Both of those things are gonna sell because the same reason they do all of these PS5 versions. When the Days Gone TV show that they've already greenlit, or the Horizon Netflix show, or any of these, or
Wasn't
the
the
Until
Horizon
Dawn
show in-
movie that's confirmed to be in production. Like,
Well, we've seen a trailer for that. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
so when that comes
the
out
Horizon
in
show is
theaters,
in like production hell,
yeah, but
correct?
Ghost.
And who asked for a Days Gone TV show? We already got
we got
The
the
Walking
Uncharted
Dead.
movie. We got the Gran Turismo movie.
I can understand.
We're getting
There's
the
more
Ghost of
than enough
Tsushima
zombie
movie.
media.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that could be.
That's the thing is the zombie
of Tsushima
media
could
is
be
oversaturated. Yeah.
well,
It's
Ghost of
literally
Tsushima is
inspired by
getting a
film.
live action movie and an anime based on Legends. So
Yeah, that anime.
That's gonna be sick.
Yeah, they might be kind of cooking with that anime too.
So
Yes.
the Days Gone show is for the people who like Days Gone, and when the Days Gone show comes out and it says based on the video game, and people go and see the PS5 box for Days Gone, they'll just buy it. They're not thinking about the $10 upgrade. They didn't get it on the PlayStation Plus collection. They watched the show and they're like, hey, I have a PS5, or somebody I know has a PS5. I'm going to get this game and just check it out.
Yeah.
And that's what all these like next gen upgrades are for. It's so when people go to buy the game.
To get suckers.
I mean, The
That's what
Last
it's
of Us
for.
Part 2 remastered.
Oh, okay. It's not a show. It's a movie adaptation
Is what?
for Days Gone, apparently.
Okay. We're getting a Gravity Rush movie supposedly. Like, if there's a PlayStation IP, they may not be trying to do a sequel, but they're probably trying to do a movie. Because everybody saw what happened with The Witcher, with Cyberpunk, with Fallout. Like, we have all these examples of, like, media coming out and people... Like, if we had a Castlevania game based on the Castlevania show, that game would be Game of the Generation. Like...
But unfortunately, unlike, like, Fallout, those are, like, really good, interesting IPs that don't really have a TV show already. Days Gone is... This is just another zombie movie with a bunch of zombies running
Sons
at
of
you.
Anarchy, zombies. There's an audience of people that will.
You know, if Days Gone did more Sons of Anarchy shit,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have this conversation.
But they can do the more Sons of Anarchy shit in the movie, and then when after people watch the movie, they go and play the game and get the zombie killing fix that we were talking about earlier out of that game. Then there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not interested. So, shouts out to those people. I hope you have fun. Go for it.
Right. None of us, they could have gotten none of us with any of these upgrades, and all of these games will still sell because we saw the spike of sales of The Last of Us Part 1 remastered. Like, every version of The Last of Us just started selling more because of the show. And then now when Season 2 comes out, Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is already available on Steam and PS5. And so when that season ends...
I mean, that made a hell of a lot more sense than remastering Horizon.
Well, Horizon...
Yeah, because The Last of Us is really good.
The Horizon
and
show,
a pretty good story.
If it weren't in development hell, had... Like, all of these shows have the same amount of potential. It's whether they squander it or not.
I don't know about that.
Because the Tomb Raider show squandered it. Like, the Tomb Raider show is...
I mean, Aloy is also boring as fuck.
Yeah, but it could have been not about Aloy, the show. And that gets you into the world, and then you pick up the game, and then you pretend
Then you gotta,
It's just
like,
about
Can
the
you
world.
pretend?
then you pretend, and you're gonna have to rely on CGI because
Look,
you know we're gonna
PlayStation
wanna see
doesn't
those
care as
robots.
long as people buy copies of that game, which will happen if this show comes out. Because it happens with pretty much all the shows.
How long before
Yeah.
we get that Helldivers movie?
That I watch.
That's been greenlit. There's also a
And they
Death
want to
I mean,
kill
that
Stranding
as
just
movie
many
sounds
coming
awesome.
from
celebrities in it as
A24.
possible.
Yes.
They want a bunch of celebrities just to get him killed. Imagine if it was just Edge of Tomorrow, my bad, Live, Die, Repeat, except instead of just one celebrity getting murked repeatedly across the movie, it's just clones of a couple of them.
Hilarious.
Well, we are getting that movie with the Twilight guy.
Oh, Mickey
Batman.
17?
Yes, that shit
Yeah.
looks good.
It does look good.
It's from the writer of Parasite.
Yeah, I was going to say, but that's because... Yeah, I mean, he hasn't missed yet.
He knows what he's doing. He's cooking, you know?
Missed it, I have not seen him do yet.
Sure. All right.
All right, so the next game was Digimon Story Time Stranger, which I know the
looks great.
Digimon Story games are good, but that trailer would look like the most generic, random Bandai Namco shit possible. Like, you could have told me for the first 90% of that was a new Tales game, and I would have believed you. You could have told me that was the Scarlet Nexus sequel. I would have believed you. You could have been like, they're reviving Blue Protocol. I would have believed you. Like, that was the most nondescript Bandai Namco anime slop trailer like I've ever seen in my entire life.
I mean, I would say that goes back to the whole conversation we just had about them not being stingy with their assets.
Yeah.
But also, this is the first time we got a new War Greymon model in like since the Vita.
Yeah, because that was the last time we got a new Digimon Story game.
Some of
the
these.
Vita.
So yeah, so part of it is just the fact that like we're getting Digimon in the modern Bandai Namco asset style. Which,
Yeah, but they didn't show. They took too long to show or say Digimon.
Yeah, it was like almost a minute in before you see a Digimon.
I think they wanted to build up that wonder.
Well, they want to build up the actual story of the Digimon story.
They're what is this? Like you said, Todd, is this a Scarlet Nexus? Which I take. I enjoyed what I played at Scarlet Nexus. I need to go back and play some more of it at some point. But it was cool.
It's in the backlog. The other Digimon Story game is in my backlog, so you know, we're here.
Played a little bit of the other Digimon Story game, and I had fun.
Yeah, it's just a Persona 4 clone. I remember one time I saw Kuma playing it on Switch. And I'm like, are you playing Persona 4? He's like, nah, I'm playing that Digimon.
Yeah, I got like fucking, like Cyber Sleuth or something on Switch. And I was playing that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the Digimon Story games. So then we got Directive 80.
Say, we are exaggerating with how long it took them to show the Digimon, because the trailer is only 1 minute and 38 seconds long, and we saw Digimon by like the 45-second mark.
I didn't see the trailer.
Oh, I actually watched the State of Play all the way through twice.
I just saw the
at the 48-second mark, you see a bunch of
So halfway through the entire trailer that we got.
Yeah. That's usually how long it takes for trailers to show what their gameplay is actually going to be.
Yeah, you got to do a certain amount of edging.
Pokemon Frame 1, they're showing you Pikachu. Star Wars Frame 1, there's a lightsaber. Most of the time.
No, that's iffy. That's iffy.
Well, yeah.
They'll show like an iconic.
No, that is
like,
iffy.
You'll get Lucas at the front of it, for sure. And the Disney Plus, everything Disney Plus Star Wars
I
has
forgot
a
what they did for Outlaw.
I mean, they're relying on that shit. That's their problem. They're like, you got to know what IP this is, so you keep watching it.
I mean, if we really want to talk about it, it's really just the fact that it's like you could have just done the High Republic era that you made in books and made TV shows about that, and we wouldn't have this problem because
They
it would be
did.
new enough.
They made a
No.
children's show.
Yeah, they made one children's show.
Yeah.
One.
What about the Acolyte?
No,
That
that's
is-
not High
yeah,
Republic era.
nope.
That's not High Republic.
Nope.
What was that then?
Shit, like modern time. Like most of the live action stuff is
It was modern. No,
yeah.
That's
because they didn't know what the fuck a Sith was. They were like, "What's
Well, the
a Sith?"
Jedi are just like that. I think
Well, High
no, that one,
Republic
no,
is
the Acolyte
later
is
on.
right before Episode 1. The Acolyte is right before Episode 1. And also, the Jedi was like, the Jedi didn't believe the Sith were there. Only 3 Jedi actually got to understand like the Sith were actually there. Only like 5 of them. You know, it
And
was
one of them became Darth
and one of
Vader.
them ended up turning. Because like Anakin knew, Obi-Wan knew,
Qui-Gon knew but died.
Qui-Gon knew but then died. Mace Windu found out, then went through a window.
fucked
like-
around and found out.
He fucked around and found out. Yoda knew because he had to save Anakin and Obi-Wan from Dooku at the end of Episode 2. He didn't believe it up until that happened.
Yeah.
And by that time, they were already deep into the war. Because remember, there was only like 3 Sith running around that entire time. Palpatine and Sidious were the only Sith masters running around.
Palpatine
then-
was brainwashing the Republic.
Well, that's just politics. Honestly, he did that with the most bare minimum political play possible. Like, I'm serious. This is probably how we ended up in Iraq with the way Palpatine manipulated things. Because remember, he was funding the separatists
Mm-hmm.
and moving money around shadily. Like,
Okay,
lot
the
of that is-
Acolyte is set at the end of the Star Wars franchise High Republic era, approximately 100 years before Star Wars Episode 1.
Oh, there you go.
okay. That's still consistent. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next game, I'm really curious to see what Chris specifically has to say about it, and I have some questions around it. It's Directives 8020, a Dark Pictures game. Have
Yes.
you played any of the Dark Pictures anthologies thus far, Chris?
No. Like the Query and
Well, no. Quarry is
Quarry.
technically not Dark
Not a
Pictures.
Dark-
It's
No, it would
Supermassive
be-
Games, but it's not Dark Pictures. Man of Medan, Little Hope, House of Ashes, all of those.
those are
Those are the dark. They actually are like the
Okay.
Dark Pictures anthology : Man of Medan, Dark Pictures anthology : House of Ash.
no. I've
Directive
never-
8020 will be the first game for Season 2.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And so this one is way more of like you're on a derelict spaceship, kind of like
Mhm.
it's more space horror. And I know,
Yeah.
It's a very classic. There's an alien on here we don't understand. It's killing and replacing us.
Yeah.
You know.
No, this looks
and it's choice based.
Dope.
So I'd say you said you went down to Essential on PlayStation Plus, Chris.
yeah.
Okay. Well, if you were on a higher tier, I'm pretty sure all the previous Dark Pictures games are on extra.
Yeah.
So you could have given
Oh,
those a
and check it
try.
out.
But
Yeah, I might upgrade again if I feel like I miss anything.
Yeah,
what, you're not
I do like
excited
the
for
lead
Armored
actor
Core and
that's in it.
Patapon? Because that's what they're adding to the
Armored Core?
classics. You're getting Patapon 3 on
Oh, fuck.
PSP, and you're getting Armored Core 1, 2, and 3 that are not called 1, 2, or 3. They all have
No.
subtitles, but it's the first 3 Armored Core games.
Patapon's cool though.
Patapon 3 is cool, but you're better off playing Patapon 1 and 2, which are probably on extra, and
Mhm.
then wait for Patapon 3 remastered or the spiritual successor from the team that made it. I think it's called like Rodicon or something.
Rada.
Right around.
It is called Ratatan.
Ratatan. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that's the Patapon spiritual successor that you can just wait on. Because that can't be like crazy far out. It seemed pretty far on when they announced it, so. And it won't be PlayStation exclusive, so, you can get that same gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
It says it's releasing in 2025, so. We've got that going. Then we got Dreams of Another, which is the newest Pixel Junk game. So it's Q Games, but it has like the trailer starts with Pixel Junk, and it's a game where you have guns and you are shooting voxels to create things.
Oh, that
Yeah.
It's like without destruction there cannot be creation, and it's like you have an RPG and you shoot it and a door appears.
Yep. Get a rocket launcher and trees are made.
Yeah, so I mean, all of the Pixel Junk games have been completely different from one another. They've been like, this studio is really like, oh, we're gonna do a small game. It'll be like a downloadable thing, but it'll be under the Pixel Junk label, but it will have nothing to do with, because like they did like Pixel Junk shooters 1 and 2. There was like a tower defense Pixel Junk game. There's just like all different. There's Pixel Junk 4 AM that I'm still not 100% sure what that game is, and I've played it. So that's the next game. It'll be interesting to see like what they do. Like when this game comes out, will it launch on PlayStation Plus? Because that kind of PlayStation Plus is the first time I actually played Pixel Junk games because they were free on PlayStation Plus. So then we got Five Nights at Freddy's: Secret of the Mimic. How are we?
I'm not going to pretend. I'm okay. Okay. Look, we're still getting Five Nights at Freddy's games because we're in an entirely new era of Five Nights. We're gone from spooky haunted animatronics to spooky haunted programming for spooky haunted animatronics. The code is haunted now.
Oh.
I know the Five Nights at Freddy's movie had to have helped, but like I felt like this was a franchise that died. Like, how is it coming back?
No, it's not. No.
Streamers.
No, number one, it never died. No. First thing,
They have comics. They have so much media.
It is the new Goosebumps, my guy. Fazbear Frights is the Goosebumps kids are reading these days. And I'm not gonna even lie to you, they're pretty good. They need to hire my man R.L. Stein on some of them. Like, give R.L. Stein, put R.L. Stein's pen on a couple of these, you'd have some real heat. But that's not the point here.
Is R.L. Stein alive?
Yeah. wait, what are you talking about?
I think that's a valid question considering, I feel like the Goosebumps books have just always existed.
He was born in 1943.
Well.
Okay, he's 81. People live to be 81. 82. People get to, well, he's not 82 yet, but people get to live to be 82.
Is he still creating books?
Lord willing.
I think he quit. I think he's done.
I have a question.
They got like
I'm not going to ask it.
No, just ask it. Oh, wait, actually, no. Apparently, he still got his name on some books. Slappy World is happening. That's not the point. Anyway, Madrid, what was your question?
It's not important.
Just say it.
Oh, come on.
Is he racist? He was born at a different time.
I am not equipped to answer that question, so I'm just going to talk about the next game on this list.
Locked.
I gave y'all multiple outs. Y'all know who I am, and y'all know what questions I asked. That's on y'all.
Not that I
did
know
not push for this in any
Not that I know
sense.
of. Not that I know of. Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
Okay, Hell is Us. When they showed this, I want to say at the Game Awards, it looked really cool.
Yeah.
Looked like a mix of like Stalker and like. But it's like one of those games where it's like no HUD. It's like we're not gonna. This was the game
I
that
think
they said.
I think they showed it at the last State of Play.
Was that where it was the last State of Play?
Yeah, because it was kind of a minute ago.
Yeah, because this is a new gameplay trailer.
Well, yeah, this is the first time we've seen like cutscenes, which is weird for a game where they're not supposed to be giving you any direction. Cutscenes seem like a really interesting thing to do in that type of game. So
He's got 4 chins.
Chins?
Sorry, I was watching the trailer again.
all right, then we got Liza P. Overture, which
Timothy's going to Wonderland. I don't know if Timothy's going to Wonderland, but it looks good. It looks good. More Liza P. You know?
Yeah, it's
Can't
a
complain about
prequel,
that.
whatever it is.
Is he not going into?
Is it a prequel?
Yeah, I think that was.
That looks like that definitely looks like, because based on
They're
looking at it,
adding
that's
shit.
definitely after the game. Because you don't get that sub until the end of the game. That's
Yeah, this is you going into Monstro. Yeah. I don't know about Liza.
Oh no, it is a prequel. That's weird.
See, I was like, I know I didn't like.
That just doesn't make any sense to me, but okay.
I mean, it's not
Maybe it
supposed
is
to
a
make
prequel,
sense.
but it's not a prequel.
It's a prequel and a sequel at the same time.
You feel me?
It's a prequel and they not expand alone DLC, but because that was like they just had that on like the splash screen for the game. It's like base game.
Oh, okay. We're going back in time. It's a time travel story. Okay. That okay. Because I'm like, how the fuck
Because
do you
time
get the
travel
sub?
always makes things make more sense.
I mean, if you watch enough Doctor Who, it kind of does. It's crazy enough. If you watch enough of that show, time. Okay. That makes sense. Cool.
But yeah, I know the Liza P sickos like are out there and happy
It's
as
a
clams.
good Souls-like. Like, if you like Souls-likes, Liza P is good.
Yeah, apparently Liza P is the best non-FromSoft Souls-like there is.
As it should be.
Okay, so the next game, we got a new trailer for Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. RGG's just cranking these games out. This one got a demo, though. So
Yes.
it's been a while since there's been a demo for a Yakuza or a Like a Dragon game, so it'll be good, like, you know.
It's because those shit start off so fucking long.
Yeah.
Cutscenes and like, oh, we need you to do that.
Well,
The Marine battling in this looked really cool.
Reuse your assets, remix them, put it back out. It's like, this is a blueprint more people should be following.
Yeah, especially in today's climate. You know.
Okay, then we got another look at Lost Soul Aside.
Looks good. I'm proud of Mans to go from a solo development to getting picked up by Sony to turning it into that. It looks sick. It looks sick.
That is like what happens when, and this is why PlayStation doing the China Hero Project, the India Hero Project, and like now the Africa Hero Project is going into these regions that like traditionally haven't been known for game development and like supporting these small or individual person teams to get things like this out onto your platform. Like that's how we got Anno Mutanium. So So, and Lost Soul aside, looks super sick. So
Yeah, it looks so
You already
dope.
know how I feel. Like we're in that character action meta right now,
Mhm.
which makes perfect sense for
We're
them
getting
to
a
give us
return.
a Castlevania video game based on the Castlevania anime based on the Castlevania video game series. I think it's the perfect time to do that,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
especially after that last season. What?
well, I mean, like sticking on that Renaissance, going out of order. We got Onimusha Way of the Sword. We got a new trailer
Oh
for
yeah.
that, and Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny that they confirmed was coming out. And the Capcom showcase last week.
Mhm.
We just got
Yeah, didn't we just talk
that.
about how Capcom sacrifices their showcase?
Yeah,
to
like
give
we
heat
got
to
Every
everybody
year.
else?
we got a better Monster Hunter trailer out of this state of play. We got a better Onimusha trailer out of this state of
We
play.
actually got gameplay. They didn't
Actually
show
got
that shit
gameplay.
before.
And we know it's Musashi. Because of course it's Musashi. Like, you know, there's like 5 famous samurai that people care about apparently, and one of them is Musashi Miyamoto.
Mhm.
Okay. And I mean, speaking of famous samurai, they're famous ninjas because we're getting Shinobi Art of Vengeance, which is part of the Sega Super game. That was one of the series. They're like, we're bringing it back. It was there with Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi and all of these things, but this is the closest to an actual releasing game like that we've seen. Like the Crazy Taxi stuff has been kind of like leak stuff. I mean, Persona 3 Reload is technically part of the Super games, and that's out. So,
Yeah.
but yes, the Shinobi Art of Vengeance, that art style looks sick. Like
Yeah.
we're getting that Ninja
very
Gaiden
clean.
Ragebound. We're getting a lot of these even like 2D era like action games. So we're getting like our 3D character action. We're getting our Souls like. We're getting our 2D action. We're getting so it really is like an action game. Renaissance.
Everyone eats, you know.
Mhm.
You know, even if you're a Muso fan, like you just got Dynasty Warriors Origins, and they're also releasing, they shadow dropped Warriors Abyss, which is a roguelike, like non-full price Warriors game that's using some of the tech that they built for Dynasty Warriors Origin to do like a stylized roguelike game. So
Did y'all have it on your Banco card of every, like, literally every franchise getting a fucking roguelike?
Nope.
But I feel like it should have.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I feel like roguelite is the new multiplayer component that they just add to games randomly.
you know, and sometimes that's really good. They do a really good job when they do that.
Oh, I'm not mad at it. Some of my favorite multiplayer games are literally just this is the multiplayer component we added onto it. Star Fox Assault.
Uncharted
Legends.
2. There's a shit ton of people that The Last of Us, like factions, still
that
has
was
people in
that was my introduction to Last of Us, was playing the multiplayer mode.
That's insane.
That's
That is
insane.
like
That is.
legitimately. That is
Actually,
crazy.
I have played more of the multiplayer mode than anything else in The Last of Us. And granted, that was like maybe 20, 30 minutes of that. But yeah, that still stands.
Damn, that's crazy.
Damn, that's crazy.
I've played The Last of Us 1 multiple times, and I watched a show that was just the first game retold. Played the second game once through. Second game is way less. Like, the first game's heavy, the second game is like lead balloon, lead football field size, blue whale heavy. But another game they showed that definitely doesn't look heavy was Metal Eden, which they started showing it and it looked like Marathon, which means this game is not long for this world.
No,
Initially,
it
really did look like Marathon.
No.
It was
Yeah,
a colorful
it does.
looking shooter, like seeing that with no,
Like those
it's not like we've
specific
seen
color
Marathon
palette.
gameplay, right?
Yeah, that's
We
the
haven't
thing.
seen gameplay for Marathon, so that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
It
the
didn't make
color
sense to me
palette
because
they
I really
use.
don't think not metaphor, fucking Marathon. I don't believe that game still exists. I'm gonna be real with you. That's why I didn't believe it. In my heart, I do not believe that game still exists.
And
You
I
So
think
when
mean,
I
they're
we
just
saw,
gonna
kind of
keep
knew
quiet
it
about it?
wasn't Marathon because it didn't start with PlayStation Studios and then it wasn't followed by Bungie. So that's one of the
Yeah.
ways we knew that it. But like early on in that trailer, it looked similar to Marathon.
nah.
Yeah,
Because once again, it looked like because this was a game that looks like it exists. Marathon, I do not believe exists. That's the only reason. Because I'm like, this can't be Marathon because
I think
Marathon doesn't exist.
last thing I heard, they're turning Marathon into like a more of a hero shooter, like
Yeah.
so probably closer in line with like an Apex.
They should have just
Yeah.
kept the extraction shoot. Oh, actually, no. You know what? Never mind. You know what? Never mind. They should no. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marathon's gonna end up being the next Concord.
More than likely.
Concord got out. Concord got out. Like people were actually able to play Concord. Not many people did, or for very long. But at some point, you could say they could.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But yeah,
so,
Metal Eden looks sick. I'm in. It's the shooter sickos are getting some more shooters.
Yeah, I'm glad people have options. They don't have to just keep playing fucking Call of Duty.
But they're gonna
Hey,
keep
man.
playing Call of Duty.
Last year's Call of Duty was sick.
I said
so.
shooter
What you got,
sickos, not Call of Duty sickos.
There
Hey,
is a big difference.
That's true.
It's true.
So back in the alphabetical order, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but this was the trailer that leaked that let us know we were getting a state of play, and it had the snakes versus apes mode in this one, but the Xbox version is getting Snake versus Bomberman. Because PlayStation is not having. PlayStation's like, no. Why would we give Xbox the Ape Escape monkeys?
Like people with an
Snake
Xbox
gonna have to
didn't
play
a PlayStation.
Minefield.
Right.
I don't know how it's going to work. I just know that we got confirmation that that version, that mode, is only in the PlayStation version and that there's something Bomberman in the Xbox version. It might be the same mode just with a model swap.
Probably.
Because the whole game is just a model swap. So then we got Mind's Eye, which is one of those. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you break. Like the game trailer, it looks like a GTA like from one of the creators of GTA. Cool.
It looks like what it looks like is if you really tried to. It looks like Sleeping Dogs, but more gunplay. It's like the evolution of Sleeping Dogs 1, when it's like you were a gunman first, hacker second, instead of Sleeping Dogs 2, where you were a hacker first, gunman third.
Fair.
So
I don't know. I'm in.
it's GTA. It's a GTA like from one of the creators of GTA, who had a falling out with Rockstar, and when it's like, I'm gonna go make my own game that people can make games within. So he was trying to do like a metaverse, and this is gonna be the first game in I think the game's called like Everywhere. And it's the platform that he then is now working with IO to publish his own game within that game. And Mind's Eye is the first game being published within everything. That's why like the trailer is like, it looks like cool. Yeah, I could see people playing this. But then when you actually start looking into how people are going to be playing this, it starts making less and less sense the further you go.
Weird.
So Then we got, in alphabetical order, Monster Hunter Wilds. It opened up. They showed a few returning monsters. They showed more new monsters. And they confirmed that the first title update is going to be Mitsuzune. So that's sick. Mitsuzune is a cool monster. It's always welcome back for me, personally. Like, I like its armor. I like its weapons. So, yeah. Cool to be getting Mitsuzune back.
Mm-hmm.
Had no idea.
We talked about Onimusha already.
Yeah.
Saros was the last
Yes.
thing they showed, and it's the biggest thing. It's the new
Yeah.
Housemarque game, and it's a roguelike like Returnal, but it'll have more permanent upgrades, like things like Balatro and
Mm-hmm.
like more modern roguelikes like
Any other
Hades
roguelike.
2. Well, no, not any other roguelike. Like, it's more modern, because for a long time, roguelikes were more like Returnal, where it's like, yeah, outside of like a handful of upgrades that you get permanently, like, outside of that, you're not getting anything
Mm-hmm.
run to run. Like, it is a complete fresh start, run to run.
Yeah.
So, but this is more like the modern sense, and is starring Raul Coley, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's it. Get to
But
see a
yeah.
brown
Yeah.
guy leading the game.
They didn't show any gameplay, but it looked.
Yeah,
I
They showed
dig the
bullet
vibe.
hell in his eyes.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I know what you're making. This is
Yeah.
going to play like Returnal. And fuck yeah.
It's like the way they did Alien Nation and Dead Nation and like Resogun. Like, they've kind of always had these incremental steps towards what this has been, and this just feels like the next step following Returnal.
Mm-hmm.
And we know it's going to have a higher budget because they're officially owned by PlayStation now, where they weren't when they released Returnal. They bought them after the release of Returnal. Even though their games were exclusive, they were a second party for a long time, but now they're first party.
Yeah.
We talked about Shinobi. We talked about Sonic Racing. Split Fiction. We got a new trailer. That game's surprisingly soon. The new Joseph Ferris game, the follow-up to It Takes Two. This time it's two writers that are going through each other's stories. And so, hopefully this one isn't as long as It Takes Two, because I feel like It Takes Two, for it being a like co-op required game, was like longer than it should have been.
Yeah.
Which is why I never finished it, but yeah, hopefully this one's shorter. It's one of those games that if you buy it, you get a code to send to someone else so they get to play it as well.
That is cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. It comes out March 6th.
Oh, so that is soon.
That is.
Yeah.
That is, I'm not playing it because Monster Hunter is soon. Then we got Splitgate 2. We got news that we're getting alpha on PlayStation. And we got another look at Splitgate 2.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Halo with portals, which is still a great idea.
I mean, Splitgate 1 was fun.
Yeah.
That was a fun-ass multiplayer game. Like, those days we played it, I had a grand old time. I'm not going to even play with you.
And this one's going to be better because it's Unreal Engine 5, and a lot of the lessons they learned from Splitgate 1, they're like, we can carry these over to Splitgate 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Stellar Blade DLC with Nike, Goddess of Victory, which I guess it makes sense because they're the same developer, but yeah, it's interesting. And they announced it's coming to PC, and they're expecting more sales on the PC version because PC is the most prevalent platform in a lot of the Asian markets that they're targeting with this game.
So wait, Stellar Blade isn't on PC?
Nope, it was PlayStation 5 exclusive, and when the Nike DLC comes, I thought they did like
Damn, I was thinking they already did like a PC port.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
when the Nikkei DLC hits the PlayStation version, that's when the PC version will launch. I want to say it's June.
Yep, June sometime. Planned release June.
So then we got the Midnight Walk, which is that claymation like Tim Burton VR horror game that looks like a no for me dog.
No.
Maybe it's a comeback to it. It's a comeback to it.
Is this just a VR game?
No, it's also playable flat screen.
Okay.
If it appears on Game Pass, I'll go back. I'll go back.
I think it's PlayStation exclusive.
Well, then that's a no for me, dog. That is not something I'd. Nah.
That kind of horror, like the Tim Burton-esque. Tim Burton will traumatize you, but it'll stop before like purposely traumatizing you. This looks like it's going to purposely traumatize you.
Yeah, it's coming. Oh, it's coming to Windows, so you can get it on Steam.
Okay.
Okay, so then we got Tides of Annihilation. Tides of Annihilation, which is another one of these really good looking action games. 3D action.
I saw this one. I was like, "Oh, this goes in."
It's hard for me to get excited about these because like we're getting more and more of them, and you kind of like for it to be a new IP.
Yeah.
Like it's getting with the amount we have. Like Ninja Gaiden, it's like I have a connection to Ninja Gaiden, so like, and I have a connection to Platinum Games, but I don't have a connection to this studio, and it's a new IP, so I don't have a connection to that. But like, it looks good, I will say.
Yeah.
We already talked about Warriors Abyss, and the last thing we have alphabetically is WWE 2K25, where they showed the island, which is the 2K, the version of like the city from NBA 2K. So microtransaction hell has been added to the wrestling game, so have fun with that.
Yeah, this is gonna be god awful. Have fun.
Looks terrible.
GG's.
All right. Well, does anybody else have anything they wanted to talk about?
No, that's about it for me.
No. That's it. I am I'm all out.
All right. I just sent off a message, but you can follow us all collectively around the internet next time at Cheesy Controller. Podcast.com. You can follow me on Blue Sky at Anton6. Or Chris, where can people find you?
You can find me at Chef and Chris on Blue Sky.
Madrid?
You can find me at Frank Motion on Blue Sky.
Okay, Jalen, where can people find you?
Squid Bishop on the internet.
All right, and you can find Tony at Atlanta Sci-Fi Expo. Pretty much everywhere. Looks like he has a link tree that has information about the expo, about his shop, and that expo is coming up March 15th and 16th at North Lake Mall in Georgia. So for anybody local, I'll see.
Definitely check that out.
Because I think that's like a weekend, so might be able to check that out. See if he has any cards available for that. And
it's on the 15th and 16th. There's a Saturday and a Sunday.
Okay.
We're basically going to run events from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday and from 12 to 6 on Sunday. And that Saturday evening, we're actually having a cosplay ball over at the North Lake Doubletree Hilton. And that's going to go from like 7 to 11. And that's got like general admission passes and also VIP passes.
Cool.
Okay. And what kind of things can I look forward to, like, happening at the Sci-Fi Expo itself?
Well, with the expo, we usually have about 50-some vendors, all right, that are like writers, artisans, people from the film industry, video game developers. They'll be there vending. Also, we're gonna have a fashion show, cosplay fashion show, cosplay costume contest. There's gonna be different group photo shoots going on. We're gonna have like, if you're into like video games, we're gonna have like voice actors that, like Bob Carter, who does a lot of different voices and stuff for like Mortal Kombat and some different animation shows. We're gonna have art directors, who work for like Wizards of the Coast, which puts out Magic the Gathering and also Dungeons and Dragons, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. Many video games coming from that. We've got people who work in the comic book industry. Basically the whole purpose of the expo is like it's free to the public, and you get to come and learn from people who are actually in the different fields. So if you want to learn how to like, get into, TV production, how to get in front of the camera, how to get behind the camera, how to produce comic books, how to contact agents if you want to be, an author. It's basically a show that like everybody comes in and they share their knowledge. Because one of the reasons we started it up is that a lot of people like here in Atlanta, going to like Dragon Con or something like MomoCon could be cost prohibitive. So we're actually doing a show that gives you the elements of the bigger shows, but at a much lower profit buy-in. You can come and attend the show for free.
Well, yeah. So like, that's something like the past year I went to MomoCon and Anime Weekend Atlanta, and like we talked about a little earlier, I've actually been going to some smaller events at Charlie's Collectibles show. So just having another spot like Jalen plays Commander, Chris and I collect Pokemon cards, just having another kind of venue for those kind of nerdy activities, we're always here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, if you like Charlie's and you like, MomoCon, just imagine something a little bit in between. We'll have a lot more stuff going on than what they do over at Charlie's, but we won't have as much as they have going on at MomoCon, but it's still plenty of stuff to do.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Well, do you have anything else you'd like to plug before we wrap for the week?
Oh no, I'm fine. Like I said, you get a chance, come out and check out Challenges, Games, and Comics. If you go ahead and put down March 15th to 16th, you can come check out the store, and you can come, entertain yourself at the expo. Like I said, there'll be board games, miniature games. If you like gaming, we'll have plenty of gaming going on.
Okay. Well, until next time, this has been a Know It's Good production. The video version is edited by Chris. The audio version is edited by Akuma Santi. The descriptions are written by AI. Until next time, keep it cheesy.